So, welcome to another CMC podcast. In this Meet the Instructor series, we're meeting each of our instructors. And today we have with us Dave Harper. So, Dave, hi.
Hey, how's it going?
So Dave, what got you involved in the fire service to begin with?
I was one of those kids that used to see the fire engine running down the street and always thought that was going to be kind of fun and kind of exciting. So I actually got involved early on while I was still in high school. Was something I figured that I wanted to do. I actually took my first EMT class while I was still a senior in high school, and then kind of immediately started working for an ambulance company and getting into volunteering for the fire service like right out of high school. So I've been one of those that this is pretty much all I've done my whole adult life.
Well, yeah, that is an early start. So tell us, about the, your fire service career. So once you got through the EMT class in high school, what did you do?
So I went through the EMT class, and then I started working for a private ambulance from Southern California, and worked for a private ambulance there. Then started working as a volunteer or paid call firefighter for Orange County Fire Authority down in Southern California. Did that for about 3 years, and then was fortunate enough to get picked up full time on a fire department in the LA area with the city of Burbank. While I was there for about 9 years. Worked as a paramedic, as a firefighter, and then also as an engineer. And then, like I said, I was there about 9 years, and then I transitioned over to the Orange County Fire Authority, also still in Southern California, where I kind of started out, and worked there as a firefighter paramedic for about 4 years on some busy engine companies, and then also on the truck companies there. Promoted to captain, was a captain for 7 years, and with that time mostly spent all on truck companies. I really enjoy the truck type work, which kind of got me into the technical rescue stuff. One of my assignments there was on one of our technical rescue trucks. I was there for 6 years on that truck, and that's kind of what got me into the teaching. Started teaching while I was there. Teaching confined space, teaching rope rescue, internal with the department for some of our refresher trainings, and then got involved becoming a state instructor and teaching state classes, and then ultimately promoted to battalion chief, where I'm currently at right now. I had a couple of different assignments with as being a battalion chief, and was in charge of our technical rescue program for a short period of time. With that.
Well, and just for our listeners, Orange County is not a small organization by any means. How many?
Orange County Fire Authority, we're at 72 stations right now. We cover a population of about 3.5 million people.
Yeah, that generates a few calls for you.
Yeah, and with our program there, we're pretty fortunate. We've got 4 different technical rescue units within the department. Like I said, I was assigned to one of them as a captain for about 6 years.
Wow, yeah, that had to be a great assignment.
It was the best assignment.
Well, imagine you see a wide variety of stuff in a city that size. You have a lot of industry and everything else there, right?
Yeah, it's a really diverse area that we have. We have everything from the ocean and the cliffs down in kind of the Dana Point area down there that we have some rescues, and then a lot of industrial stuff, and then also a couple of the theme parks. One of the more, we'll call it famous rescues maybe that we saw from our area was a few years back when they, at Knott's Berry Farm, when they had the people stranded in the sky cabin, where the guys had to make a pretty dramatic rope rescue. I was not working that day, but the guys did an amazing job on that rescue.
Oh, fantastic. So were you on any other specialty teams, like USAR teams or anything like that in your time?
Yeah, so part of being on the technical rescue team for the department, Orange County also is one of the sponsoring agencies for the FEMA Task Force. I've been a member of the FEMA Task Force for about 10 years now. Been on there as a rescue squad officer, as a rescue team manager, and currently I'm one of the task force leaders for California Task Force 5.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of responsibility there, huh?
Yeah, and had a very interesting deployment as part of the task force that we went up to the campfire after that bad fire went through to do part of that search mission, and that was a very we'll call it an interesting mission that we learned a lot as far as there wasn't a lot of rescue going on, but as far as the search component part and with the data gathering and that kind of stuff was a really good learning experience, and getting the fire search and rescue teams and the law enforcement search and rescue teams really working together in that kind of an environment where they don't seem to work together a lot. I would say between the two, and it was a really good experience for everybody.
Yeah, it seems like too in California, you guys have some kind of unique, call-outs too. Not only the wildland fires like that, but also like the mudslides and everything else. So kind of unique to your area out there.
Yeah, we've got a bit of everything. It seems like that's how it goes. We get the winds in the fall that gives us the fire, and then when we do get the rain in the wintertime, it brings all the hillsides back down. So we have to deal with the fires during the fall and the mudslides and those searches and rescues in the wintertime.
Wow. Yeah, never a dull minute, huh?
Yeah, never a dull moment.
So when did you start with CMC?
I think I'm the newest instructor here with CMC. I just started back here in August of 2021. Really excited about this opportunity. Like I said, that I've been teaching for about 8 or 9 years now, and really looking forward to this. My fire service career is actually coming to a close. I'm going to be retiring here in a couple of weeks, so I'm looking forward to having a lot more opportunities to be able to teach here for CMC.
Oh, yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, you're new to us, but sure not new to the industry or to the specialty. So, and yeah, I might add that you'll love retirement. It's awesome. So, well, I don't think you're going to be overly retired with us here. So, we'll keep you busy. So. Yeah. So what, if I recall, you've already got at least one of your task books done, right? So you're all set up.
Set up now, teaching for rope rescue. So the 1 and 2 class, task book signed off for that. So teaching that, and then like I said, I already teach confined space in California. So I'm going to work on my task book for confined space, and hopefully get here teaching some of the confined space classes also for CMC.
Yeah. And just for our listeners too, just I purposely mentioned the task book because no matter how much experience somebody has that comes to us, everyone goes through the same task book process, and we have to demonstrate. All of our instructors have to demonstrate not only do they have the knowledge of that subject, but that they can teach that subject, which are two very different things.
Yes, two very different things. Have those conversations with some people, and like I said, some of the people that we work with, there's certainly an art to teaching and something that you have to learn that takes a little while to get used to. It's easy to grasp we'll call it easy to grasp the concepts to get stuff, but then to be able to turn around and teach it to somebody else really shows mastery of those subjects.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, plus the ability to be able to communicate and changing your style too for different students, right?
Definitely, yeah, because different people learn in different ways, so making sure that you have different ways to be able to teach the same type of material to make sure that everybody can understand what we're trying to teach or get across, whatever those principles are. Because, like I said, at the end of the day, with all these classes, especially with the technical classes, different people are going to pick it up different. Is making sure that by the end of the class, that everybody understands those concepts that we're trying to get across.
Yeah. So what do you like most about teaching?
Actually, what I like the most about teaching is meeting all the students and getting out there, and actually I like learning from the students. That's one of the things that I've noticed since I've started teaching is I actually learn stuff every single class that I do because everybody has different perspectives and comes from a different place. So as much as we're teaching the concepts that we have, but especially here in rope rescue and in confined space and in all the technical rescue disciplines, there's lots of different ways to do things. So I'm always interested in seeing how different people do things in different areas. Like I said, that my experience of working has been down in Southern California, so this is the way that most of the departments and agencies do things. But I love seeing how people from other parts of the country accomplish the same tasks in different ways.
And that's one of the interesting things, being that we get all around the country. There's definitely a lot of different ways to do things, and some very new techniques being used, and some not so new techniques. So yeah. So So now that, and actually this is probably something that's going to change a little here. So when you're not teaching or at work, what do you do in your spare time?
Well, when I'm not teaching, I just recently moved from Southern California to Montana, and up here with my wife and two of my kids that are still living with me, and we've got some property up here, and we're actually working on putting together kind of a small farm, and we started raising some chickens and ducks and goats and sheep and pigs, and so it's a big change from the life down in Southern California. So that's where my focus is right now. We're learning a lot of new life skills. Like I said, it's something that we've never done before, something I've never done before, and there's a lot of learning going on. So it's good.
Yeah. Beautiful country up there too.
It is. Very fortunate.
Yeah, and a whole lot less people. Huh?
Less people, but it's certainly colder. It's actually snowing right now.
Oh, yeah, something you're definitely not used to down in the Orange County area. That's for sure.
Yeah, very very different than Southern California.
So is there anything in technical rescue that you really have strong feelings about?
Yeah, one of the things is for me really is, as we talked about before, with what I liked about the teaching is learning all the different ways to do things. One of the big things is there are so many different ways to do things, is making sure that teams are operating on the same page, that everybody is on the same page with whatever they're doing, and with that comes leadership, and there needs to be strong leadership on those teams to make sure that everybody's on the same page, because while there is lots of different ways to accomplish these tasks, one of the big things is making sure that everybody's on the same page, because that's one of those things certainly that's been coming out recently, is we have all these new things coming out, and these wazoo techniques and everything else, which they're really good, and they show a lot of the theory and a lot of things that we can do, but if you end up getting into a rescue situation and you're having to explain to other people on your team what you're doing, you actually slow things down if everybody isn't training and isn't on the same page. So that's one of my biggest takeaways from my experience and being on calls and being on drills, and because most of the people that get into the tech rescue are very type A personality people, and they're very sharp people, and they think their ways are going to be the best, or they learn something new that they saw on the internet, and then all of a sudden they're trying to throw it out on a call or on a drill, and we're like, hey man, that's really cool, but we need to make sure we're all on the same page here, and while we're working our way through these rescues.
So you're saying you wouldn't be a fan if somebody saw something on YouTube this morning and instituted it this afternoon on a rescue? Huh?
No, seen him try it. It usually doesn't go that well.
Yeah, it doesn't go well. So so what's kind of what's your take or your methodology? What do you think is the best way to make sure everyone is on the same page?
The biggest thing is going to be training with your teams ahead of time. That making sure that everybody's getting the same training. And when those new techniques and stuff come out, this is something that we definitely deal with being in a larger fire agency. A smaller department, it's easier. But being in a larger agency, we've got a large number of people to make sure that when everybody comes together, not necessarily working at those same stations, when we get onto those calls, making sure everybody's on the same page. So it's when some of these new techniques come out, it's making sure that we're doing training with everybody, training ahead of time to make sure that everybody's on the same page and everybody understands. One of my things when, like I said, as I was operating as a captain and even as a battalion chief on these tech rescue calls, I kind of joke, but it's what I do is we come up with a plan, and I give everybody, you have 30 seconds to tell me whether you like it, whether you don't like it, what you want to do. When that time's over, we're making a decision and we're moving forward. And in the middle of that call isn't the time to start having the what we call the good idea fairy come up in the middle. Say your piece at the beginning. We're going to work our way through, and then once we get over, definitely all those AAR, or do an after action review on all of those calls that we have. Then we can discuss it afterwards and come up with new techniques to improve for next time.
Yeah. Well, that sounds awesome, too, and that speaks volumes about how much confidence you have in your crew, that you really want to get their input and listen to them at the start of the rescue when you're formulating that plan. That's definitely great leadership.
Yeah, because none of us know everything, right? So, and that comes with that training ahead of time. That as long as we're all training ahead of time, then that's where that trust and confidence comes in with the rest of your team members.
Yeah. So where do you see things going in the future for technical rescue?
What I'm seeing, and I think we're already seeing it now, is all the technological advancements that are coming out with a lot of the gear and everything else. We did everything simple with 8 plates, brake bar racks, and everything for so long, and then as the MPD came out, that was basically like the game changer. And then now lots of these other devices that are coming out with the with the IDs and with the clutch now that's out, and everybody really likes it, and it's making our systems safer. I think it's making them more efficient, and I think that we're going to continue to see smaller gear, lighter gear, as we're starting to do all the testing on everything and all the equipment. As people start gaining more and more confidence in their equipment, I think you're also going to start seeing people being more comfortable with lower safety factors on their equipment as they start to trust this equipment more. So I think a lot of it's going to be having to do with the equipment and the technology that's coming out. We're still going to have a hard time with the human factor of those of us that have been around for a long time that have always known, well, no, I have to have this big carabiner if I'm going to be in this system because I need to have this 10 to 1 or 15 to 1 or 25 to 1 safety factor and I think a lot of that's going to start changing as we start doing all the testing that's been going on. I mean, even over the last 20 years, but even in the last 10 years, 5 years with the testing of the equipment and people starting to understand more and having a lot more confidence in their equipment.
Yeah, it seems like some of our systems were designed so that just basically in the event somebody accidentally threw a pickup into the load mix there, we were safe. So, but yeah, I agree with you. I think you're right on the money there. I think that's smaller, lighter, faster seems to be the way to go.
Yeah, it seems to be the way that we're moving.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely seems to be the way that we're moving. So we'll see what the future brings.
Yeah. Well, excellent. Well, hey. Thanks for joining us on this edition of the CMC podcast. So hopefully this will get to know, have students and prospective students get to know you a little bit better.
All right, great. And hope to see people in classes here coming up soon.